I've been wanting to make a Fiona and Cake video for ages but could never find the right idea. It's always been more of what people are already saying, so what would be the use of a video? This one is also similar to what people have been saying, but I feel like my take is a little more unique on it. I suck at finding the right words to phrase things, or even that sounds bad. I'm just asking you to bear with me. So as many have pointed out, the show has a pacing problem, which there has been a slight pacing hiccup here or there, but the thing is, the show could definitely have thrived off its season 2 story, and I actually think it does. I just think some events maybe could have happened one episode earlier, or they could have released the first 2 episodes for the premiere week just so they could get the ball rolling a bit faster. There's definitely some issues with the pacing, but I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I mean, sure, it did take like 5 or 6 weeks to make it feel like we were getting somewhere, which is a bit of a drag, but now that those episodes are out, I don't think it's as bad. Now, to reflect, let's look at Season 1. It definitely did take some time to get the ball rolling. The difference is they were releasing 2 episodes at a time, so by the time episode 5 came out, we were on our 3rd week. On the other hand, the build-up episodes did also have more stakes and events going on to make the episodes feel more important. Whereas Season 2 has been a lot more slow, and at most it might have one big event in the episode, which even then sometimes isn't too big. There also has been a lot of setup that feels like it's for a potential 3rd season instead of touching the story it has on its plate, like finish your dinner before you touch your dessert. We have the mundane slice of life stuff in Fiona's world. Problem is, other than the first episode, it mostly feels like build-up. They have started to sprinkle more in, and are starting to incorporate magic because of Hunted Wizard, but it is still moving pretty slow. Every episode is kind of, each side of the story feels like it's found a solution, and by the end of the episode, they're kind of just back to square one. They thought they found a solution, and then boom, it didn't work, so now they have to start again. I would argue some things are definitely happening, it just doesn't really feel like we're getting any closer to the goal. Like, as we go through the episode, we're like, oh yeah, and then it's all just ripped back up to the start. I definitely think episode 6 has gotten us a bit closer, which is good because the Cosmic Owl has died, which means Finn doesn't have a guaranteed death anymore. Like, we aren't that much closer, but I would argue we're closer to the goal now. Same with the Fionna world story, she finally has a venue for the concert to save the sweet spot, instead of just trying each episode and getting back to square one. It also had some great fan service moments like Fionna and Finn meeting, and then Hunter and Huntress meeting, which I do personally think that second one could have come earlier, but unless you move it to episode 5, which was already pretty good, you don't really have a lot of options because of when Huntress actually sprouted out. This is why I kinda want episodes moved around, or just them to have aired a bit earlier. Maybe, like the 2-week thing, it could have made the pacing feel better. And even then, I don't know that I'd want Hunter and Huntress meeting to be moved to episode 5, because that episode was already pretty fan-servicey. Like, yeah, it doesn't do much in terms of the plot, but it's still a pretty enjoyable episode because a lot is technically happening. My only problem with it is the demonic wishing eye being played off as a joke in the end. Like, all that set up in the previous episode just for it to be a 30-second clip at the end. What was stopping them from just putting that in the previous episode? All that build up for nothing. But yeah, the pacing isn't terrible, I just think they're shoving scenes in the wrong episodes. Like with the previously mentioned wishing eye, or just trying to make episodes a little more fan-servicey. But even then, rewatching all the episodes, I personally don't mind this season at all. At the time when things were taking their time week by week, I was definitely a bit hurt, but I am happy with how things are turning out. Sure, it's not as big as action-packed as Season 1, but we don't have the full product yet. I think it's a bit too early to judge. I mean, last season the common complaint was the story was so action-packed and then the finale was a bit underwhelming. Maybe they're going for the opposite effect this time. A bit of a slow burn for the actual season, but then maybe the finale is so grand. But I think after last season, no matter what happens this season, it's definitely going to be lower stakes, because they're not just going to bring Goldbetty out again, are they? I mean, it's definitely doable, they just have to do a lot of fan-servicey stuff to make the season exciting. Like, have Finn and Fionna meet in a way that he will remember. Because it is nice to have these 2 casts of characters, but when they feel so separated, it's not really that exciting. Because other than Huntress and Simon, it doesn't really feel like any other characters have interacted. You want these characters to meet their alternate counterparts. And not in ways where they're gonna forget, like with Finn and Fionna. Like, if Finn was okay after Simon got back for like maybe a couple days, I'm sure he probably got told about the adventure and that Fionna was real, but you still want them to meet. While I have thought some of the episodes dragged and could use more moments, I have found most of them have a moment or two that really make it worth it. Yes, they could be doing more, but typically it's in Adventure Time's nature to be episodic, so I don't really mind that we're getting these smaller episodes because things are still happening in them. And the last few episodes have definitely been a bit more important, and I'm sure as we go on, they're definitely going to get more and more important up until the finale, which we were told by a couple of the screeners that this season is a lot slower, but it gets worth it near the end. So I kind of went in expecting it to be a bit slower. I didn't really think it would be this slow, but at the same time, I'm not complaining. Again, I'm definitely fine. I think we could have gotten a few scenes moved around just to make the pacing a little better. I don't think it's anything like everything should have happened so much faster, especially without the finished product. How do we know if these scenes happening earlier would have been beneficial? What if it was just the start is action-packed, the middle ends up being so slow, and then the end is fast? You'd probably prefer the build-up over time, because you'd hate for the story to start, then just stop, and you've got to wait weeks and weeks to see the end. At least it's building up over time. I mean, sure, they could have done 2 episodes a week, or started off with a 2-episode premiere, but I know even if we were getting that way, people would still probably be mentioning the pacing, they just probably wouldn't be as bothered. I'm not saying we should settle for less, or that less is better, just that I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. Like, there's definitely are some small issues they could fix, but I'm sure we'll live, especially as more episodes come out. We're definitely gonna be surprised, I think. But I guess if the season ends bad, you can come back here and make me eat my words. A good way to know when to come back is if you like the video or subscribe.